Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to show you a few things with electrical on this car. I've already done it. This is after I did some of the work, and you'll see. I had to rerun the interior harness, which I had done way previously. I had to put the door harness back in for the driver's side, and then I had to rewire and put all the stuff up back underneath the dashboard by the fuse box. Now, there's a little bit left to do. I have to go and plug back in the switches on each door for the dome light to come on, but that's like a minute of work. And then other than that, I have to put the interior panels back on and stuff like that. But before I do that, I'm going to be installing some Dynamat throughout the whole car. Now, this is not my first CRV, so I've already done this. I know where to put it. I know how to do it pretty well. With an exhaust on this, it drones terribly. I guess it's just the shape of the car. So a lot of that goes in the trunk area, and then each door, and then the floor as well. And since I already have all the interior off, now's the time to do it. So I did the harness, put all that back in, and then I added the fog light wiring harness under the dash. The way this car is set up, the wires out here are already in the car. They just leave a plug empty under the dash for that harness to be plugged in. I have a little footage of that showing it. That's in the car already. And then you get the switch and you put it in one of the poke out holes in the dashboard. But other than that, it's pretty much the Dynamat and, you know, making sure the harness is like put into place properly, and then putting the interior back in the car, and then the seats, which I have. One of the seats is in there already, just because it takes up a lot of space in the garage, and then the others are going back in. Let's get to it. In order to much easier get to this hole, you take off the fender, and now I can very easily run the harness through these like they're supposed to go and into the cabin. This section here is actually the piece that goes through. So we're gonna run that first. Now, well, you can't really see very well, but here, let's do that. Goes through. At least sitting up there now. Okay. Now, while I'm under there doing the wiring harness under the dash, this is the tow hitch, tweeter speaker. Here we go. This is the under dash harness, not that. This long dongle multi-switch piece here is the underdash wiring harness section of fog lights. And this is pretty great. The section of this that is from Japan that I ordered because the first gen CRVs, it's really, really difficult to find. Well, not really, really difficult, I mean, compared to some other cars, but it's difficult to find, well, I'm going to correct myself. It's not that difficult to find them anymore, but the underdash fog wiring harness section. If you look at the car, this plug right here is the plug for the engine bay for the fog lights, wherever they, whether it be the stock ones that mounted or, you know, a one that you made, which is what I did. And those run underneath the dashboard to this. It is fuse, and I took the JDM harness because the JDM harness only has 20-watt bulbs. They're not very bright, so they can handle the wattage of the light bulbs through the normal switch, or at least that's what I was told. The USDM fog lights, though, are the 55-watt bulbs. They need a relay to handle the power, otherwise you melt the switch. I've seen one melt. It basically just stops working. It won't press. So what I did, I got a relay, I got a fuse, and I soldered and wired them in. I really should have used heat shrink on these, but I used flux and solder and then a little dielectric grease to keep water out and seal it the right way. And then a little electrical tape over top. This is the power input. This is the... Sorry. We have the ground wire. We have the ground wire for the relay. We have the power input going to the fog lights. And then we have the power input for the switch, and this is what goes out to the fog lights. This is what goes out to the fog lights. And then it works. I'm probably gonna have to replace this because these this wiring's probably really corroded internally down into there because it's been sitting in an engine bay out in the open with nothing connected or whatever. So I'll have to check that. The rest of this car is actually in pretty good shape. I mean, you have mild surface rust, but most of this car is in good shape. So hopefully this will be okay. I do have another one that I will do. Eventually I will do a soldering tutorial for anyone who wants to learn. You can get parts for cheap. You can get soldering equipment for cheap. It doesn't take. It's not hard. It's not hard. There's a couple different ways you can do it. It's not hard and it's not expensive. So I will eventually do a video on how to solder. But in the meantime, back to wiring up this underdash garbage. Yeah. This door is actually what I need to do next. And I've run the harness into there, which you can't really see. It's that gray plug coming out of the door right there. That is where the harness needs to go into. So I will be running that and then to the rest of the car. I gotta finish putting this back up and making that look at least a little bit more clean together. I have bolted the cruise control module back in place. I have bolted in the grounds. Actually, that was already there. This one. I've bolted in the grounds, and I've also run the grounds for the fog lights that are right there. This is kind of garbage placement now, but I really don't care enough to make it look nice again. Plus, the clip that holds this on the side of the fuse box is broken. So, zip tie as it is. I used to never wear gloves, and my hands would look black as the gloves by the end of me working on the car, and I have since changed that habit. So really, this is kind of okay, because that's gonna go behind. There's a kick panel that sits there anyway, and the only thing I really need to worry about putting back up there is this, which that is why I should probably rearrange some of this. At least make it look a little bit. That's alright. That's alright. So, this is bolted back up in place. The fog light wiring is plugged in. This is for the trunk release. The fog light switch. These are for like the window and mirror and motor controls and all that. And the fog light and the fuse box is back in place. So actually, it's only this that's left. And I'm not gonna bother with that just yet, because I have a box with all the bolts in it that I need, and it's on the other side of the garage. I don't care enough. So that's actually okay. And now I get to move to the rest of the car. So here we go. I gotta make sure that all these are plugged back in. So, okay, the airbag is good. That's good. This is for the door open switch. Let's move my light real quick. All right. Here we have the rest of the harness running back to there. It is plugged in on that side. I just got to make sure to run it underneath of the chair there. That's the speaker wire. That's for the trailer hitch. Speaker wire plugs. Another door open switch right there. All right, that's actually not that much left, and then I can start putting the body panels back on, thank God. All right.